So this is just a very short video on solving equations by factoring, and what I want you to realize is this. If you have two numbers, a times b equal to 0, it doesn't matter if a equals 0 or if b equals 0, because if one of them equals 0, the whole left-hand side of this equation is going to equal the right-hand side, which is 0. So that's just a little piece of information I wanted you to have. I'm going to take a look at a couple of examples, and the first one I'm going to take a look at is if I had something like this. 3x minus 6 equals 0. I can factor out a 3, and what I'm left with is x minus 2 equals 0. Well, I now have two factors. This is one, and this is the other. If I set them both equal to 0, well, 3 can't equal 0, but I can divide by a 3. If I divide by a 3, that's going to go away, and I'm going to be left with x minus 2 equals 0. Add 2 to both sides, and I get x equals 2. If I plug that in, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Very, very basic. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. But let's say I had something like this. Let's say I had something like x squared minus 4x equals 0. Well, now I can factor out an x, and I'm left with x minus 4 equals 0. Well, my highest degree exponent is a 2, which means I should have two solutions. So I'm going to set this factor equal to 0 and this one. So I'm going to say x equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. Well, if x equals 0, 0 times negative 4 is 0. And sure enough, 0 squared minus 4 times 0 is 0. But I add 4 to both sides, and I get x equals 4. Now if I plug in 4 minus 4 is 0, and 4 times 0 is 0. 16 minus 16 is 0, and that works too. So far so good. Let's do one like this. Let's say x squared minus 25 equals 0. Well, I could factor, and if I factor, I get x plus 5 and x minus 5 equals 0, and I set both of these equal to 0. And when I do that, I get x equals negative 5, x equals positive 5. Negative 5 quantity squared is 25, minus 25 is 0, and 5 squared minus 25 is 25, minus 25 is 0, and so that works as well. You can do two more maybe. Well, I'll do two more. Let's say I had this. X squared plus 2x equals 63. Well, this one looks a little bit awful, but it's not, because all you have to do is you have to realize this. Set one side equals 0, so I'm going to subtract 63 on over. And so I get x squared plus 2x minus 63 equals 0. And I recognize that as a trinomial, so I'm going to put down my two parentheses, keep it equals 0. And I'm not just factoring now. You have to make sure that you know when you're factoring and when you're solving. Big difference is when you're solving, there's the equal sign. We use 7 and 9. And this 9 has to be positive and 7 has to be negative. So I'm going to say x minus 7 equals 0 or x plus 9 equals 0. And I should have mentioned this before. The reason why you identify your highest degree is because that tells you the greatest number of possible solutions. And here, we got x equals 7 or x equals negative 9. It is possible to have a second degree polynomial, but only one solution. And my example would be this, x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. And the reason why is because when you factor this, you get x minus 3 times x minus 3. So you're only going to get one solution. It's going to be 3. If you set x minus 3 equals to 0 and add 3 to both sides, you get x equals 3. Alright, so that's it. So as long as you can factor, you're in good shape. You're just going to end up solving for the variable. That's all there is to it.